ओ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
अस्मद्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्।
ॐ सहना
ॐ सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यं करवावहै,
मा
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
तत्सत् Om Namah Shivaya Hari Om.
हरि ओम।
So we had completed the first four verses of Vakya and we will be on the fifth one now. So that's correct, right? So let us chant,
Yes, Acharya.
chant the fifth verse. Please unmute yourself. Guru Vacha
गुरुवाच
Sadhvite Vachana Vyakti
साध्वीते
साध्वीते
वचनं व्यक्ति
वचनं व्यक्तिः
Pratibhati Vadamite
प्रतिभाति
प्रतिभाति
वदामि
वदामि
ते
ते।
Idam Taditi Vispashtam
इदं
इदं
तदिति
तदिति
विस्पष्टम्
विस्पष्टम्।
Savadhanamana Shृणु.
सावधानमनः शृणु।
सावधानमनः शृणु।
So the teacher now understands that the student is mumukshu, and this he makes it clear. Iti pratibhati. It is now clear. It appears. Te vachana vyaktihi sadhvi. So your verbal expression, vachana vyaktihi. So vyaktihi literally means that which is in front of you. So te vachana vyaktihi, the words which you expressed, sadhvi, they are very appropriate. Why? Because there is, you have said what you want to say very briefly also without going into too much song and dance. You have respected my time. At the same time, there has been humility also. So you have fulfilled all the requirements of a good student communicating to his guru. And therefore, Vispashtam Vadamite. I will clearly teach you. So remember, te is you. Vispashtam, very clearly, Vadami, I will tell you what, because I have the method of communication. I will clearly teach you because I am part of the Sampradaya. Sampradaya means the method of teaching I have. And what is it that I shall teach you? Idam tat. This is that. Idam tat. This is that. This is the teaching that I've asked for. That this alone is the sadhanam. And vispashtam, I will clearly teach you so that you have no more doubts. See, what is the sadhanam therefore? Can I request you all to please unmute yourself, to mute yourself if there is noise in the house? So, savadhana mana shrunu, manaha shrunuhu. Listen with an alert mind, because for jnanam, your just the ears are not sufficient. The mind is also required behind the ears. And savadhana, savadhana means sa avadhanam. Avadhanam is attention. Sa avadhanam, savadhanam, with attention. Okay, so here the Guru is saying that you have the required jnana yogyata, the required chitta shuddhi, and therefore I will teach you. Your FIR is very low in our words, and therefore I will teach you clearly what you have asked for. Okay, now the sixth verse we will chant. Please unmute yourself. तत्त्वमस्यादिवाक्योत्थम्
तत्त्वमस्यादिवाक्योत्थम्
यज्जीव परमात्मनो
यज्जीव
यज्जीवपरमात्मनोः
तादात्म्यविषयं ज्ञानम्
तादात्म्यविषयं
तादात्म्यविषयं
ज्ञानम्
ज्ञानम्
तदिदं मुक्तिसाधनम्
तदिदं
तदिदं
मुक्तिसाधनम्
मुक्तिसाधनम्।
मुक्तिसाधनम्
So mukti sadhanam, the only means of moksha is what? Tadatmya vishayam jnanam. Tadatmyam, the knowledge of the identity. Vishayam jnanam, the subject of the knowledge of the identity, the aikyam, the non-difference between whom? Yet jiva paramatmanoho. Between the Jivatma and the Paramatma, there must be tadatmyam. The identity should be there. And that is the only means of moksha. And then how will I ensure, how will the Guru ensure that this knowledge will arise in the mind of the student? So he says there is Shastra has provided as a tool called the Mahavakyam. So Tattvam Asyadi Vakya Uttam. Uttam. It is born from the Vakyam, the Mahavakyam, like what? Tattvamasya Adihi. Like the Mahavakyam Tattvasi, etc. So Tadatmya Vishayam Jnanam. That knowledge of the identity is born from the analysis of Mahavakyams such as Tattvam, Asi, etc. So Tad Idam. That knowledge about the Aikyam is born out of analysis of the Vakyam, Mahavakyam, by a student who is qualified. And that alone is Mukti Sadhanam, is the means of liberation. Okay. Now, the next verse, the fourth verse. Ko jiva kaf paraschatma.
को जीवः परश्चात्मा
Ko jiva kaf paraschatma.
को
को
जीवः
जीव कः
परश्चात्मा
परशात्मा
Why kaf?
विसर्ग उपवास
Because there is
followed by
a
pa.
this is a visarga followed by a pa, therefore ko jiva kaf paraschatma. Okay. Ko jiva kaf paraschatma.
को जीवः कः परश्चात्मा
परशात्मा
तादात्म्यं वा कथं तयोः.
तादात्म्यं वा कथं तयोः
तत्त्वमस्यादिवाक्यं वा
तत्त्वमस्यादिवाक्यं
त्वमस्यादिवाक्यं
वा
वा
कथं तत्प्रतिपादयेत्.
कथं
कथं तत्
तत्प्रतिपादये
प्रतिपादये.
So this is Shishya Vacha. He is saying, O Guruji, I have not followed a single word of what you have said. Okay. Why? Because four words you have used. Tattvam asyadi, jivatmaha, paramatmaha, tadatmyam you have said. And you said that Mahavakyam generates this knowledge. And the problem is that I don't understand any of these words themselves. And the Mahavakyam, when they use the words, how can I understand a sentence where the words I don't understand? How can Mahavakyam generate this knowledge? Because I have heard all the words, but the meaning of the words I don't know. And therefore, remember that every Shravanam, when we do Shravanam, there are two Pramanams which need to function efficiently. First is the Pratyaksha Pramanam, which is the Shrotram, the words. The words of the teacher enter your ear. That is required. And Shabda Pramanam is required. Because the meaning of the words have to be understood. So if I talk in French and then you don't know French, the Shrotram will function because the French words will enter your ear, but the mind will not be able to decipher them. So as Shabda Pramanam, those words will not function. And therefore, for Shravanam to be successful, you have to have Pratyaksha Pramanam, the Srotram, as well as the Shabda Pramanam. The meaning of the words have to be understood. That's what he's saying here. Ko Jivaha, Kaha Jivaha, who is Jiva? Right? What is the answer? Jiva strictly means what? A living being. That which has life is a Jiva. But in this context, because of the Shastric study context, it is a human being. So Jiva here is a human being. And Kaha Paraschatma. So Paraschatma is Para Atma, also can be called Paratma or Paramatma. So Kaha Paraschatma, who is Paramatma? So two questions he has asked. Who is Jiva? I don't know. Who is Paramatma? I don't know. And if I don't know both these, Tayoh Tadatmyam Katham. How is there an aikyam between the two? How is there a tadatmyam between Jivatma and Paramatma? How will I understand? I don't know. And the fourth thing, which I don't know, Tattvam Asyadi Vakyam Va Katham Tat Pratipadayet. How can the Tattvamasi Vakyam reveal that particular aikyam? That also I don't know. Right? In short, I don't know the words. I don't know the connection between the words. Therefore, I don't know the sentences. Therefore, I don't know how the knowledge is generated. Okay, so this is called Pramana Vicharaha. In English, it's called epistemology, the theory of knowledge. Okay, now we go to the next verse. We will chant. Guru Vacha
गुरुर्वाच
Atra Bhruma Samadhanam
अत्र
अत्र
भ्रूमः
समाधानम्
समाधानम्
Onyo Jivastvameva hi
ॐ
पुण्यो
पुण्यो
जीवस्तमेव
जीवस्तमेव
हि
हि
Yastvam Prichhasi Mam Ko Yachham Prichhasi Mam Koham
यस्त्वं
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 पृच्छसि मां
पृच्छसि
पृच्छसि
मां
कोऽहम्
कोऽहम्
Brahmaivasi na samshayah.
ब्रह्मैवासि न
ब्रह्मैवास्य न
संशयः
संशयः
So Guru says, Atra Samadhanam Brumaha. Right? So one interesting thing to note in this word is this, had the Guru been saying, I will answer your questions, he would have said, Atra Samadhanam Bravimi. Bravimi is first person. I will tell. Right? So Uttama Purusha, single is Bravimi. But Guru doesn't say that. He says Atra Samadhanam Brahmaha. So Brahmaha is Uttama Purusha plural. Uttama Purusha Bahuvachanam. So Uttamam basically means first person. So instead of using first person singular to say I will tell, the Guru uses first person plural to say that we will answer all your questions. What does it indicate? Very important idea over here.
Guru Shishya Parampara, but
It in,
whatever knowledge he
yes,
has gone.
yes, it indicates that the
parampara.
answer is not his, that the answer given by the entire parampara is being given. All the teachers in the parampara say the same thing. So that is what he's saying. Very good. Excellent understanding. So Brumaha. Atra Samadhanam Brahma. We will answer all your questions. It's not me who's answering. The whole parampara is there to answer your question. What is the first question? Ko Jiva. Kaha Jivaha. What is Jiva? He says, Jivaha Tvameva hi. You yourself alone are the Jivaha. And Kaha Anyaha. Who else? So this Kaha Anyaha is rhetorical, which means that there is no one else who is the Jiva other than you. So Jivaha Tvameva hi Kaha Anyaha. You alone are the Jiva. Who else can be the Jiva? That is the question. That is the answer. Okay. Question was Kaha Jiva. Who is the Jiva? And who is this you? Tvameva, who is that you? Yaha Tvam Mam Prachasi. You are the one who is asking this question. Who is the Jivatma? Therefore, what is the question you are really asking? Kaha Aham. Who am I is really your question. Right. So the whole thing is to say that your question of who is the Jiva ultimately resolves into who am I? Because you are the Jiva. And having known that is not the answer to your question. Therefore, the real question is what? Who am I? So that is the first question. Then the second question. Kaha Paraschatma. Who is Paramatma? Right. Why do Why does a person have to ask this? So there is a special feature about the Jagat, about the universe, and all the other people also, right? The whole world specializes in telling you how small you are. From the very birth, you are told that you are finite, you are totally useless. Who tells you that? Your parents tell you that, your sisters and brothers tell you that, your friends tell you that, your teachers tell you that. The fact that you are such a useless person and totally finite and miserable is a fact which is told to you right from birth. Is it not? Everybody tells you are so stupid and you're so miserable, right? And the sad thing is, the tragedy is, it is not just this birth, in every lifetime, in every Srishti, you have been told this. So, over millions of births, you have been conditioned to believe that you are a completely useless and miserable, finite person. And therefore, is it any wonder that we think we are finite and miserable? And not only that, even in today's world especially, every advertisement, and you can't escape advertisements, right? TV it is there, paper it is there, social media it is there, you open your phone, there are advertisements. What do they tell you? You are not good looking. Use my aftershave and you will become good looking, right? You are not smart. You buy this tablet and eat it and you become strong. Everything is designed to show you that you are useless. And then one fine day, by some grace of the Guru and your good prarabdha, you come to Vedanta. And then for the first time in your life, the Acharya looks at you and is wonderstruck. He says, you are the Lord. How is it possible for you to be miserable? So when he says that, you are wonderstruck. And this is the aim of Shastram, to take you on this journey from the miserable one to the never miserable one. Or to, as SPG would say, from the ever miserable one to the never miserable one. That is the aim of Shastram. Ahankara bhavaha to Jivatma bhavaha. From Jivatma bhavaha to Paramatma bhavaha. From Paramatma bhavaha to Sarvatma bhavaha. That is the journey. Ahankara bhavaha, Jivatma bhavaha, Paramatma bhavaha, Sarvatma bhavaha. Remember, the journey doesn't end with Paramatma bhavaha. You have to be Sarvatma bhava. Because when you say Paramatma, there is Paramatma and there is Jivatma. There is still duality. Therefore, you have to come to Sarvatma bhavaha, where you alone are there. And so here Acharya says, Brahmaiva asi. You are Brahman. The Paramatma is Brahman. What was the question? Who is Paramatma? Kaha Paraschatma. The answer to that is Brahmaiva asi. That Paramatma is Brahman. No other than Brahman. That Ishvara is no other than Brahman. And then the third question was Tadatmyam va katham tayoho. What is the oneness, the identity between the two? Because Brahmaiva asi. You, the Jivatma, are Brahman. Right? Brahmaiva asi. You are Brahman. This is the Aikyam. So you were Brahman, you are Brahman, you will ever be Brahman. Where is the question of not accepting this fact? Where is the question of any emotions about this? It is a fact. Facts don't deserve any emotions. Facts deserve only recognition. Therefore, na samshayaha. Of this fact, there is absolutely no doubt. This is the answer of the teacher. Then the Shishya comes again. He has certain more doubts. So we will chant verse number 9. Please unmute yourself. Shishya uvacha
Shishyavacha
padartham eva janami
Padartham eva
पदार्थमेव
janami
जानामि
nadhyapi bhagavan sputam
Nadyapi
नाद्यापि
bhagavan
भगवन्
sputam
स्फुटम्
aham brahmeti vakyartham
अहं
अहं
ब्रह्मेति
ब्रह्मेति
वाक्यार्थम्
वाक्यार्थम्
प्रतिपद्ये कथं वद
प्रतिपत्ति
प्रतिपत्ति
कथं
कथं
वद
वद
So this is a fundamental basic grammatical principles. A sentence can be understood only when the individual words composing that sentence is understood. So in without padagyanam, that is without the knowledge of the words, there can be no vakya jnanam. There can be no meaning of the sentence. So he says padartham eva janami na adhyapi bhagavan sputam. Adhyapi, even now, Padhartham eva, the meanings of the words, na janami he Bhagavan. I do not understand, O Lord. Which words? Tat, Tvam and Asi. In that Tattvam Asi Vakyam, there are only three words. Tat, Tvam and Asi. These are not clearly understood by me, O Lord. Okay, now many commentators will take the word Bhagavan and use it to say that it indicates two things. One is respect for the teacher, and one is accepting the fact that I don't understand your teaching. The problem lies in my understanding, not in you, not in your teaching. Right? So I asked earlier, what is Paramatma? You said Brahman, O Lord, or Guruji. I said, what is Paramatma? And you said, Brahman is Paramatma. What is the problem? Previously, I had confusion about the word Paramatma. Now I have confusion about two words, Paramatma and Brahman. So words are not clear. Why? Because there are contradictory attributes. One is finite, one is infinite. One is master, one is servant. One is creator, one is created. One is all pervading, one is finite, and so on. So when I don't understand the words themselves, where is the question of understanding the sentence? Right? To take a contemporary example, I tell you, Azim is a nice man. Right? And then you are wondering, why is this fellow saying that Azim is the nice man? Because he's a Pakistani Armed Forces chief and he's, absolutely anti-India. So you ask, how is that possible? And I say, no, no, I didn't mean Azim Munir. I said Azim Premji from Wipro. Therefore, the words should be clear. If I just say Azim, there is possibility of confusion. Had I said Azim Premji in the beginning, then that confusion would not have arisen. Therefore, the words must be very clear. So he says, Vakyartham pratipadhye katham. How can I understand the meaning of the Mahavakyam Aham Brahmeti? I have not understood. Therefore, Vada. Therefore, please tell, please teach me more. So next verse is Guru Vacha. Verse number 10. Gururuvacha
गुरुर्वाच
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 Satyamaha Bhavanatra
सत्यमाह
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 भवानत्र
भवानत्र
Viganam Naiva Vidyate.
विज्ञानमेव
विज्ञानमेव
विद्यते
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 Okay, it's not Vijnanam, it is Viganam. Viganam Naiva Vidyate.
विज्ञानमेव विद्यते
गानं नैव
विद्यते
विद्यते
Hetu Padartha Bodhi.
हेतु
हेतुः
हेतुः
पदार्थबोधो
पदार्थबोधो हि
Vakyarthavagateriha.
वाक्यार्थावगतिरिह
वाक्यार्थावगतिरिह
So Guru begins by saying Bhavan. So Bhavan is the equivalent of a respectful address. So in Hindi we address as Aap. Aap is Bhavan. So you basically, the word you, Bhavan means you, but as Aap, with a lot of respect. So Bhavan, hey Shishya, O worthy student, Atra Satyam Aha. What you have said here is very true. Right? Because, and therefore I'm happy because you are not wandering here and there. You are, talking in a very, very sensible and person who has know exactly what he has not understood and he wants to know exactly. So Viganam Naiva Vidyate. So Viganam means disagreement. Vijnanam means what?
knowledge.
Knowledge. So that will be clear. Viganam is disagreement. Vijnanam naiva vidyate. I have no disagreement with you on this matter. What matter? You say padartha bodhohi. Knowledge of the meaning of words. Vakyartaha avagatehi hetuhu. Is the karanam hetuhu for the understanding of the vakyartham. So what did you say? Knowledge of the meaning of the words in a sentence is the cause of understanding the meaning of a sentence. Okay. Now, what is a sentence? Can you define, anybody define sentence?
Arrangement of words which can be comprehended easily.
Arrangements of words in a particular order. Okay.
Hmm.
So in Sanskrit, there is something called Karaka Sambandha. Right? What are Karakas? Factors of action. Like
Yeah, various factors.
subject, object, verb, all these things. Okay. So the grammatical dependency of these words, Karaka Sambandha, correctly arranged, will make a sentence. So in English, we call it syntactical order. Right? And we can call Anvayaha in Sanskrit, the prose order, a order where it is a sentence which has got subject, object, verb, preposition, etc. Right? I don't know if anybody remembers from Hindi class, Hindi grammar, Hindi Vyakaran class, कर्ता ने कर्म को करण से संपादन के लिए अपादान में संबंध का अधिकरण में किया. Remember?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Very, very faint. Yes, that was okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for reminding. Oh.
So what does it mean? Karta ne. The doer, karam ko, to the object, karan se, with the instrument, sampradana ke liye, for the benefit of the recipient, beneficiary, apadana se, from the source, sambandha ka, relationship, adhikaranam me, in the location, in the locus, kiya, perform the karma, perform the action. Okay, so it is basically agent, object, instrument, recipient, source, relation, location. The grammatical construction is correct. It is not elegant Hindi. Okay, this particular thing is a help for remembering the whole thing. So the Hindi is not very elegant, but it is semantically correct but artificial. So if you remember, it is fine. If you don't remember, also it is fine. All you have to remember is that any random collection of words will not be a sentence. It has to be in an understandable form, which we call syntactical order or anvayaha in Sanskrit. Also got another name, Gadhya Kramaha. So all these are different names for prose, which is understandable. So with this verse, the introduction is over. Now we are on the 11th verse. We will chant. Antakkaratadvritti
Antakaratadvritti
Karanatadvriddhi.
Sakshi Chaitanya Vigraha
Sakshi
साक्षी
Chaitanya
चैतन्य
Vigraha
विग्रह
Ha.
Ananda Rupa Satyasan
Ananda
Nanda
आनंद
Rupa
Rupa
सत्य
Satyam.
Satyasam
Kim Natmanam Prapadyase.
Kim Natmanam
Natmanam
Prapadyate.
Prapadyate.
So with this verse, the analysis of the Mahavakyam begins. Which is the Mahavakyam?
Tattvamasi.
Tattvamasi.
Tattvamasi. So up to the 27th verse from this verse is the analysis of Twampada. The next 28 to 36 will be Tatpada Vicharaha, and 37 to 48 will be the meaning Vichara, Vakya Artha Vicharaha. So before we begin the analysis, we have seen some ideas in many classes over many lectures. I am just refreshing. The nature of anatma. There are certain words which we use for describing the nature of anatma. Drishyatvam, bhautikatvam, sagunatvam, savikaratvam, agama payatvam. What? What is drishyatvam?
Visible, comprehensible,
Seen.
Come again.
What you can see.
What you can
Feel.
experience, what you can see, what you can experience. So body, mind, other objects. Any anatma has the quality of drishyatvam. You can experience that anatma. The next one is bhautikatvam. What,
The
what is
gross
bhautikatvam?
nature. The what you can
Physicality.
touch. Bhautikatvam is the stool, the gross part.
Bhautikabhya jatam. What does it mean? What is the difference between bhutaha and bhautikaha?
Elements and elementals.
Elementals and element.
Elements are elementals. What are elementals?
Panch
They are products after the Panch.
Panchbhutani.
Correct. Products of Panchabhutani. Therefore, Bhautikatvam means products of Panchamahabhutani. Simple. Any anatma is born out of Panchamahabhutani. Then Sagunatvam, that is with gunas.
Yes.
What are the gunas? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. All this we have seen in Tattva. Then Savikaratvam. What does it mean?
The changing nature.
Constantly changing nature. The body changes, the mind changes, the world changes, everybody changes. Agama payitvam. What does it mean?
Temporariness. Death,
Come and
birth
go,
and
come
death.
and go.
Literally
Changing.
means coming and going. Right? So where does the body and mind go? Body, mind and world. Where does it go?
Back to Panch.
Abhyakta and then Vyakta.
So it can go at pralayam. It can also go daily
Sleep
in
avastha.
Sushupti Avastha. Okay, so these are the words which you should remember. Describe the anatma. Drishyatvam, bhautikatvam, sagunatvam, savikaratvam, agama, payitvam. Whenever you use any of these, it is only anatma. So what is the conclusion? Dehadi sanghataha chetanaha. The Dehadi sanghataha, the complex, the body, mind, etc. complex, achetanaha, it fulfills all these five conditions of which we just talked about. Drishyatvam, bhautikatvam, sagunatvam, savikaratvam and agama payitvam. Because it fulfills all these conditions, that complex is inert, achetanaha. This is the first conclusion. Therefore, the body-mind complex must be recognized, must be understood as being inert. What is the problem with this conclusion?
We see it as a
Wrongly
full of
identified.
action.
I experience this sanghataha, this dehadi sanghataha, this body-mind senses complex. I experience them as what? As
As
sentient,
myself.
as sentient,
Yeah.
as conscious. And therefore, if I have to avoid the first, if I have to avoid contradicting the first conclusion, what is the first conclusion? Dehavi sanghataha achetanaha. So if I have to avoid contradicting that conclusion, I must have a deduction. And the deduction is what? That this body mind sense complex, though inert by itself, it borrows sentience from something else. This is the second conclusion. It's a deduction. And what is that second something else? It is the Atma with this Chidrupam in the nature of consciousness itself. And therefore you have another conclusion. Body mind sense complex, Dehadi Sangataha is Achetanaha. Atma is Chetanaha. Therefore these two are different. Right? Therefore the Atma is different from the Anatma, the Dehadi Sangataha, the BMMC as well as the world. The BMSC, body, mind, sense complex, as well as Jagat, both are Anatma, and the Atma is different from them both. That is my conclusion. Therefore, I have to restate the original 5 words by saying that the nature of Atma is Adrishyatvam, Abhautikatvam, Agunatvam or Nirgunatvam, Avikaratvam and Anagama Payatvam. And where is the Pramanam for this? We saw Krishna saying, Na jayate mriyate va kadachit, nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah, ajo nitya shashvato yam puranaha, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Which chapter?
Second.
Second
Two.
chapter, 20th
Second
verse.
chapter.
Right. And we saw in Tattvabodha, Trikali apitishtati iti sat. So Atma is Sat. Now with that background, let us look at this verse. Tvam is you. In this case, the student. So this is called the Tvam Padhartha Vicharaha, the inquiry into Tvam Padhartha. And remember that in daily usage, when we use the word Tvam, you, it is usually taken as the body-mind sense complex. You tell your wife Tvam, you tell your husband Tvam, you tell your son Tvam, your daughter Tvam, your friend Tvam, the neighbor Tvam. And when you say that, you are not using it to say that Tattvamasi, that you are Brahman. You are using it to mean RC, the reflected consciousness which is there in the body-mind complex, the person, the individual, the Vyakti. And this is the Vachyartham, the general meaning, the dictionary meaning of the word Tvam. Right? Now here, therefore, he says Sakshi Chaitanya Vigraha. That Tvam, the you, who you think is the body-mind complex, is not that, but is the Vigraha, the very embodiment of Sakshi Chaitanyam, the witness consciousness principle. And when you say Sakshi, what is the Sakshyam? Sakshi of what? What does he perceive? Antakaranaha, the mind, and not only that, tatvrittihi, antakaranasya vrittihi, and its thoughts. Therefore, that person whom you think is the Vyakti in front of you, is the body-mind complex in front of you, is actually the very embodiment of the witness consciousness principle, the Sakshi Chaitanyam. And what does Sakshi Chaitanyam do? It enables the mind to be witnessed and the thoughts in the mind to be witnessed. And where do you locate the Chaitanyam? So normally, when you say location of consciousness or location of a witness, right? Normally, when you say that I am witnessing something, there is a spatial gap between the person who witnesses and the object being witnessed, right? When I say that I am seeing the rose, I am somewhere else, the body-mind complex is somewhere else, and the rose is somewhere else, so there is gap in space. But in the case of Chaitanyam, when you say that Chaitanyam is the witness, is such a gap possible?
No,
Why?
because it's you,
Sarvabhyapi.
it's you only. It's you only. You can't even say in you only. It's you only. The consciousness
Sarvabhyapi.
enclosed in you, in your body.
When you say Sakshi Chaitanyam, remember that Sakshi Chaitanyam is the name given. The word enclosure is not correct.
Oops, sorry.
You have to say the Sakshi Chaitanyam is the consciousness principle which is recognized
Experienced
in your
in-
mind. Which is experienced, which is recognized in your mind. It is a all-pervading principle, right? It's not limited to your mind, but it is recognized as such only in your mind. You can't recognize the consciousness principle on the mountain. Only the mind has the capacity to recognize. And therefore, it is as if it is enclosed in the mind, it is not. So, therefore, in the case of witness consciousness, the Sakshi Chaitanyam, there is no gap between the mind or the objects that the consciousness illumines. Right? Just like if you put your hand in front of the light, there is no gap between the light and your hand. And because the light is pervading the hand also. Similarly, the Sakshi Chaitanyam, the consciousness principle, it pervades the mind, which it illumines. And it pervades the uh, thoughts of the mind, which it illumines. And that is why it is so difficult to separate consciousness from the mind. Because for all practical purposes, you take the mind as consciousness principle. And therefore, we need to constantly recall the 5 points. What are the 5 points about consciousness?
I'm not limited by space and time.
Mm-hmm. One should actually remember the order.
Conscious is not part, product.
Should remember the order, then makes it easy. Not a part, product, or property of the mind.
Property of the mind.
A separate entity which pervades the mind and makes it conscious. Not limited by the boundaries of the mind. When the mind dissolves or gets destroyed, the consciousness remains.
Otherwise, it needs.
And the surviving consciousness cannot be recognized because the reflecting medium necessary for its recognition is not there. So these 5 points should be ingrained into your mind. Then only you can follow discussions. Okay. So remember, jnanam can be received only if the antakaranam is present. And in the antakaranam, the vritti is present. Therefore, jnanam, antakarana tadvrittihi, both are necessary. So, Atma is consciousness principle. This is the first lesson. Ananda rupaha. The Atma alone is Anandaha. Any Anandaha which is found other than in Atma is also Ananda, but it is reflected Ananda. Pratibimb Anandaha. And if a reflection is there, then it presupposes a reflecting medium. Reflecting media are always temporary. Agama painaha. If reflecting media are temporary, reflected Ananda is also temporary. Therefore, Pratibimb Ananda is Agama apayanaha. It is temporary, hence don't hold on to it. And that is why in the Gita, in the 5th chapter, Krishna says, Yo hi samsparshaja bhogaha dukkha yonaya evate adhyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. The wise man doesn't play with Pratibimba Ananda because it's a future source of sorrow. Dukkha yoni. And then Satya San, that Ananda Atma is Satyam. Why? Because it is available all the time. It can never be negated. What is existence? What is existent all the time? How will you negate it? And therefore, all the 3 definitions are here. Sat, Chit, and Ananda. All 3 are here. Kim Atmanam na prapadyase. So Guru is asking such a Atma. How is it that you don't recognize this Atma? Self-evident everywhere, and still you don't recognize. Okay, now we move on to verse number 12. We will chat.
Can I ask a question?
Please go ahead.
Yeah. What happens at the time of death? Antakarana, particularly.
This part of the subtle body.
Okay.
So physical body.
So now no more clarification required, because I was thinking that we talked somewhere in the past that when the body dies, the knowledge that we have acquired over few janmas, they continue with us and we start from that. So I was just confused that Antakarana is the part of the subtle body, so it travels and therefore knowledge is carried forward.
Knowledge is carried forward. Atmajnanam, not all knowledge.
Atmajnanam. Yeah, Atmajnanam. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So let us look at verse number 12. Satyananda Swarupam Dhi.
Satyananda Swarupam
Satyananda
Dhi.
Swarupam Dhi.
Akshinam Bodha Vigraham.
Dakshinam Bodha
Dakshina Bodha
Vigraham.
Vigraham.
Chintyatmataya Nityam.
Chintyatmataya
Chintatmaya
Nityam.
Nityam.
Tyaktva Dehadigam Dhyam.
Tattva
Tyaktva
Dehadigandhyam.
Dehadi.
So in the last verse, it was said that Atma is of the nature of Sat Chit Ananda. And not only that, it is present in the body-mind complex also. Therefore, this Atma, you can't separate it from the body-mind complex. It is not available as something separate, but only as the consciousness pervading the body. And that is the problem. Atma and Atma are always experienced together. And therefore, when I use the word I don't refer either to the body mind complex alone, I don't refer to the Atma alone, I refer to the mixture of Atma and Anatma always. And this exactly is the problem. Because even though the body mind sense complex and the Atma are experienced together, it is human nature to focus only on the gross entity, which is the body mind sense complex. The Atma is missed completely. And if you want an example of that, you look out of the window and you can see a car. And unless you are very conscious of this teaching, when somebody tells you what are you experiencing, you will say car. What should you be saying?
I'm seeing I can see it only because I see the light. There is light. So I'm seeing the
You
light.
are saying the car along the light, which is revealing the car. That is the correct. The light is subtle, so you generally omit it. Right? And therefore, the RC, the body mind sense complex, is focused upon and is mistaken for the OC, the Atma. And therefore, Shankara says here, Dehadigam Dhyam Tyaktva. Dhyam, the identification with Dehadigam, which is directed to the body, etc. Tyaktva, may you renounce that. Which means may you renounce Ahankara, and if you renounce Ahankara, automatically Mamakara is renounced. Therefore, sannyasa therefore is mental sannyasa. Right? And this, especially for people like us, brings up a question. How can I take sannyasa? I have a family. Do I not have a responsibility? Right? So Shankara says, yes, you have a responsibility. You continue your responsibility to the family. Right? Do your duties, but have no binding expectations from them that they should be like this, they should not talk like this. All those things you try to reduce. And when should you do it? Nityam. Should be reduced, should be always practiced. Right? And this is not easy. It is actually a very long, drawn out practice spread over maybe one lifetime, maybe several lifetimes. So Nididhyasanam is very important. That is why in the grand text called Viveka Chudamani, there are almost 150 odd verses, 150, more than 150 verses, and then 200 verses, I think, more than 200 verses on Nididhyasana. So that at some point of time we can do. And how do we do this Nididhyasanam? Chintaya Anatmataya, Chintaya Atmataya. Claim that I am the Atma. Chintaya Atmataya. Claim I am the Atma. And what kind of Atma? Satya Ananda Swarupam, which is the nature of Sat and Chit and Ananda. And Dhi Sakshinaha, which is the witness of Dhi, the mind, and you have to add the thoughts in the mind. And what kind of Atma is that? Bodha Vigraham, the very shape of consciousness itself, which is the very form of consciousness itself. Right? Okay, the word Vigraham here is not to be taken as having a form, right? It is to indicate that consciousness should not be taken as an adjective to the body or the mind, right? It is not a, it's a indicate that when you say mind is conscious or the body is conscious, the word conscious is not to be taken as an adjective. Like when you say the body is tall or short, then that tall and short are adjectives to the body, attributes of the body. Or when you say the mind is very sharp, that sharp is attribute of the mind. But here the word Vigraham is to show that it is a separate entity. It's a separate form itself. So Vigraham is to indicate that consciousness is a separate entity, a separate substance, not associated, not a part, property, etc. of the matter, the body. Right? And sometimes another word is used to convey this ghana. Suffix ghana is used. Vijnana ganaha, so on and so forth. Bodha ganaha. Okay, now we look at verse number 13. We will chant. Rupadimanyatah Rupadimanyatah pindaha
रूपादिमान्यतः पिण्डः
tato natma ghatadivat
ततो
तो
नामाघटादिवत्
नामघटादिवत्
vyadadi mahabhutah
वियदादिमहाभूतः
विकारात्वाच् कुम्भवत्
विकारत्वाच्
विकारत्वाच्च कुम्भवत्
कुम्भवत्.
So we have said that you are the Atma. So if you are the Atma, what is the straight away corollary? You are not the Anatma. So you are not any part of Srishti. So your body is part of Srishti, your mind is part of Srishti, your intellect is part of Srishti, and therefore you are not any of that. Right? The argument is being given here. Every object which is experienced is Sagunam. Right? That is why you can describe an object because it has gunas. The reason that you can describe an object is because it has got attributes. Therefore, every object which is experienceable by us has got attributes. And you use its attributes, its properties to describe the object. And then you have to convert this into a generalization. This logic which we have just talked about, you convert it into a vyapti, a generalization. What does it say? Wherever there are attributes, that is a anatma object. That is the generalization. So in Sanskrit you can say, yatra yatra gunaha tatra tatra anatma. So wherever there are attributes to be found, you have found anatma. And this therefore, because the body is saguna, has got gunas, deha anatma, sagunatvat. Because the body has got gunas, it is anatma only. And this is the sloka, this is the application of that logic in this particular verse, in this particular sloka. He says, pindaha natma. Pindaha is referring to the body, right? So in the olden days, or even now actually, Pindaha is what? In the rituals to your ancestors, it is a lump of rice which you place over there. But contextually here, it is a lump of flesh. So that lump has to be taken into consideration. A lump of rice, a ball of rice. So in the context of this, it has to be a ball of flesh. What's a ball of flesh? The body. Therefore, Pindaha Natmaha. That ball of flesh, the body, is not the Atma. Right? So that is why we say, Yat Pinde Tat Brahmande. Wherever there is an individual body, there is a universe. So why is the body not the Atma? He gives a reason. Rupadiman Yataha. Because the body has gunas like Rupam, form, etc. And he gives an example, Ghatadivat. like the pot which has a form, and the pot is anatma. Similarly, the body which has a form, that body is also anatma. And a second reason is given in the second line. Every object that is experienced by me is bhautikam, vikara, a product of the Panchamahabhutas. And here also you have to have a generalization. Whatever is a product of the Panchamahabhutas, that is anatma only. So, second generalization, yatra yatra bhautikatvam tatra tatra anatmatvam. So he says, Vyadadi Mahabhuta Vikaratvacha. The body is a product of the Pancha Mahabhutas like Vyat. So Vyat Adi. Vyat is Akasha. Right? So Vyat Adi means like the Mahabhutas. Vyat Adi is the five Akasha, etc., which is the Pancha Mahabhuta. Vikaratvat. Therefore, the body is Vikaratvat, a product of the Pancha Mahabhutas, Mahabhuta Vyat Adi, like the Akasha, etc., five Mahabhutas. And he gives an example, Kumbhavat, like the pot, which is a product of clay of the earth. Similarly, the body is a product of the five Pancha Mahabhutas. Therefore, Shishya, you are not the body at all. Okay, so with this, we'll stop for today. Any questions? It's a very interesting topic. Most of us, nothing very complicated. We have seen this tens of times in our discussions. But the whole thing is being processed in one text. That is the interesting part. Any questions? No? Well, there's only 4 minutes left. I don't think it is sufficient for the next session, next verse. So we'll stop here. Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya
Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashyate.
Om
Om
Shanti
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 Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you.
Thank you, Acharya
Thank
ji.
you, Acharya ji.
Om Om.
Thank you, Hariji.